Hey everyone, Chloe here, and welcome back to this feminine platform and welcome back to this channel. And if you are new here, ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers, welcome. Now, I wanted to have a conversation and to share my perspective. And yes, some feathers will be ruffled, but I wanted to talk about this very radioactive and the very triggering womanhood topics of ageism, jealousy, envy, emotional immaturity, and generational beef as it pertains to the uproar and the complete Twitter meltdown of both rappers Latto and Nicki Minaj. Now, we all know that Twitter beef is good for business. In fact, it's great for business. But my goodness, where are the crisis teams and the PR managers when you need them? Because both Latto and Nicki should have logged off, but apparently this explosion has been brewing and bubbling up beneath the surface for quite some time. Now, from my point of view, and as a femininity influencer, and we talk about generational beef all the time over in the New Feminine and over at the Hypergamous Hive. And shout out to the Hive and to the New Feminine. So what happened between Latto and Nicki Minaj is this intergenerational beef amongst women. And this intergenerational beef amongst women cannot be ignored because the emotions are intense and are high with this one. But in Nicki Minaj's defense, ageism and the idea of being put out to pasture is a real threat for mature women that cannot be ignored. There is also the very touchy issue that needs to be unpacked of allowing the younger generations to come up and to have their shine, which also seems to be an issue for many older women. And of course, this does not apply to all older women, but many older women, although they often hate to admit it, are threatened by youth. And they are often salty at the opportunities that younger women often have. So let's unpack it. Now, for a bit of house cleaning, and for those of you who don't know, social media has been in the shambles over this eruption and this slow burn of girl on girl crime and this Twitter altercation that has been simmering between both Latto and Nicki Minaj. And my personal thoughts are that at the heart of what is eating Nicki Minaj is industry ageism, along with the way she seems to be so very visibly and highly irritated and triggered by the comparably minute success or the celebration of other female rappers who are coming up in the game. And quite honestly, I really feel for the both of them. And if we are really going to be honest here, very few women will have the insight and the maturity to talk about the damaging effects of how ageism can really distort, destroy, and devalue a woman from the inside out. Because as it stands right now, Nicki Minaj is fighting for her life because Nicki Minaj has been in a consistent battle, in her very own words, with a music industry that is trying to unfairly force her into an early retirement, which would be painful for any woman who loves what she does for a living. And if we're going to all be honest here, I am 1,000% sure that there is a lot of behind the scenes stuff and industry manipulation, and that there is so much that we cannot see, hear, or know. But we all know that a huge part of American culture will always be about watching each other tear each other apart. So clearly, there is something going on in the female rap beef water. But it all started when Nicki went on a live to express her continued frustrations as the Grammys made the decision to pull her #1 hit song, Super Freaky Girl, from the rap category to the pop category, which sadly does unfairly sabotage her chances of winning a Grammy in the very competitive pop music category. And it does appear that the goalpost for Nicki Minaj is constantly being moved, and then out of nowhere, back and forth history was made with both Latto and Nicki coming for each other's jugular, and the both of them quite nastily hitting way below the belt. Now, the knife crime, the petty antics, and the she said, the subtweets and the back and forth aside, at the heart of the matter, which is what this video is about, it's not about the rap beef. At the heart of the matter is that there are so many generational and womanhood lessons to unpack with this very unfortunate melodrama. Now, over at the Hypergamous Hive, we are always talking about ageism and older women being mistreated and discarded, and older women mistreating their younger counterparts. And from my feminine perspective, I see both sides. Now, in Nicki's defense, Nicki, in my opinion, and you can go argue with your baby daddy, and of course, music tastes are subjective, but I am a New York City girl, and Nicki Minaj is the queen of rap. She is a tremendous tremendous talent with an incomparable rap catalog to match. And even though she doesn't have a Grammy, she will be a future Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. She will forever be in the history books. She will never be forgotten. She will never not be a dope lyricist. And know her career, as much as I strongly dislike who Nicki married, her career and her talent have absolutely nothing to do with whom she chose to marry and should have absolutely nothing to do with her age. I personally think that ageism is not only dismissive and humiliating, but it is also disgusting, and that no woman over 35 or 40 deserves to be devalued, disrespected, or put out to pasture. But unfortunately, our society endorses and reinforces the idea that older women are pretty much useless. And that is where a lot of this intergenerational competition and intergenerational bickering comes into play, because ageism in many ways corners older women and forces many women to see each other as perpetual threats, as many older women are given the very cruel societal message that they are now expired and that it is now their time to become invisible. So to my younger listeners, please keep in mind that one day too, if you are blessed, that you will one day become 35, 45, 55, and if you are lucky, 80. So yes, I do believe that Nicki Minaj has been treated very unfairly by the music industry, and I do believe her personal claims of being blackballed. I do believe that the music industry has been doing its damnedest to force Nicki Minaj into retirement, and I do believe that she has been a constant victim of the music industry's ageism, which would put any woman on the defense and would make any woman feel underappreciated and feel resentful and hurt, and would trigger any woman's insecurity, even when she doesn't have anything to prove. However, Nicki Minaj has way too many accomplishments, and she is too much of a trailblazer to be stooping down this low by having these petty, tripolar, Roman level meltdowns on Twitter. And no matter how many ways you slice this, this is not queen-like behavior. And some feathers are going to be ruffled to hear this, but this isn't the way to go about getting your flowers, because pulling others down to exalt yourself as the older woman in the room will make you look funny style. And no matter your age, perception and your reputation is everything. And as a woman, especially as a career woman who has worked hard her entire life, who has a bag to protect, and who has sacrificed so much to be so successful, and I say this with love, but you must guard your reputation with your life, ladies, by never allowing the drama to outshine your talent. And yes, as the queen of rap, it would be nice to be revered by everyone, but being revered, and this is for my older listeners, and this may sting to hear, but being revered is not owed to you. And a lot of ego-identified women are not going to like what I'm about to say, but you can go argue with your liver. But there is also a very thin line, a very thin line between wanting your flowers and wanting others to suck your toes, to massage your ego, and wanting other women to kiss the ring, which from day one on this channel, I have always shared, especially with my younger listeners, for women to blaze their own womanhood paths without apology. To my younger ladies and to Latto, you don't owe anyone an apology for making your mark on the world. And as a woman, never ever apologize for your success, whether it's success in motherhood, marriage, having a provider man, being born with a silver spoon in your mouth, or having a career. As a woman, no matter your age, you don't owe anyone your confidence. You don't owe any other woman submission, and never give another person the ammunition to make you feel like you owe them something for life. Now, of course, it would be nice if more women from the older generation were secure enough within themselves that they could mentor or empower the younger generation. But unfortunately, not all older women are interested in uplifting or empowering younger women, or they simply aren't capable, they aren't built for it, which is why a woman at any stage of her life will always need the spirit of discernment when it comes to who they decide to trust. And I love Nicki, but the perception of this continuous drama is starting to make her look like she is the girl-on-girl crime salty 40-year-old bully who doesn't know how to handle other women who are coming up behind her. The perception is giving, I don't mind you doing good, but I don't like you doing better than me. And resorting to using gaslighting, manipulation tactics like cornering people into choosing sides and into displaying loyalties and turning the hungry rap girlies and the concrete roses that are coming up out of the mud and who are often coming from broken homes and who are coming from absolutely nothing, who openly admire you and who are hungry for your respect and your admiration and for your seal of approval, is giving very narcissistic and manipulative. Now, of course, there is a mature way to go about all of this because no matter what, at some point in the game, and you don't ever have to be invisible, and you can kick and scream for your entire career if you choose. But at some point, you have to make peace with other women surpassing you. And as a mature woman, you have to make peace with other women having their own moment instead of feeding the narrative that you are owed for life. Ladies, yes, our egos can be very powerful, but in life, there is always going to be more than one winner. So arguing with a 23-year-old who is almost 20 years younger than you is making Nicki Minaj look cat-ish crazy. It's turning her crown crooked. And more importantly, this drama, this nonsense is tainting her legacy. But like I said earlier, in Nicki's defense, I am pretty sure that she is going through HE double hockey stick behind the scenes. But in my opinion, as a 39-year-old, Nicki is not handling this with grace or maturity. And quite frankly, a queen does not need to use tactics to bully others into submission. And a queen does not have to yell out to the world 20 million times that she is a queen to be perceived as a queen. And any queen who needs constant praise and worship is only letting the world know that she is insecure to the bone. So for Nicki, at her big age, yes, this is unbecoming behavior and it's clearly a case of being mad at the wrong person because we all know that Nicki is clearly furious with the titans and the goons that make up the streaming business and the music industry. And unfortunately, she isn't thinking 10 chess moves ahead. She is allowing her low emotional impulse control to get the best of her by resorting to irresponsibly subtweeting and whipping up her fan base into a hate mob. Now, as for Latto, her biggest mistake was allowing herself to be pulled and to be cornered into this petty bear trap with Mrs. Petty. But I expect a 23-year-old to make a giant mistake like this. But as a question to my younger audience, because I have definitely experienced this for myself, and as a wife and a mother, I have personally made a vow to not intentionally harm younger women. But how many of you have ever had the heartbreaking experience of looking up to someone only to have that person see you as a threat and treat you like trash, especially when you have admired them your entire life? Because it really is a different type of hurt when someone that you idolize sees you as an enemy and is not the person that you thought they were. But I gotta respect Latto for adding Nicki, for being brave and courageous enough to defend herself, and for not allowing Nicki to punk her, and for not allowing Nicki to bully her into some type of fake quote-unquote girl power energy. And at this point in Nicki's amazing career, it would be nice if she could pivot, if she could take herself out of this petty squabble lane by further diversifying her amazing talents by getting into acting, starting a Caribbean cooking show, writing a memoir, starting a rap reality show, becoming a producer or an executive producer, because Nicki has the multi-talented power and the bank to further create an undisputed legacy, because bickering with the young ones ain't it. And we've heard over the years about how much Nicki, the wife, the mother, the icon, and the very accomplished woman, doesn't care about a Grammy. But this entire meltdown is giving that she is indeed very bothered that she doesn't have one. So ladies and lurkers, all I know is Beyonce would never, and Nicki calling Latto scratch off and Latto calling Nicki super freaky grandma sent me all the way to heaven. But to get this conversation started, ladies and lurkers, is ageism real? Does Nicki Minaj have a God complex? And is all of this internet beef going to get Nicki the rap Grammy that she so rightfully deserves? And I'll say this again because it is worth repeating, but have you ever been disappointed or outright rejected by someone that you looked up to? And as always, stay tuned for more cautionary tale videos to come, and I will catch up with you ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers in the next one.